Howdy ho guys, still here, and today we are going to talk about the list of changes compiled by Kali. It is a list of techniques that have been either confirmed or removed from the game. I have asked two well-experienced players of their thoughts about certain points out of the list, and we have decided to record our conversation. Greet ItsCestial.
Hello.
And Crame.
Hi.
And let's just get into it. Backstab chains are confirmed, including the Parry chain. Do we have anything to talk about?
Yeah, Chironic's vid that he did on backstab chains is a really good resource that more people need to be aware of.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, this video single-handedly will save you so many games if you're a new player and you're just discovering.
Yeah,
it will save you so much.
People refuse to understand backstabs are the core mechanics of Dark Souls 1.
It's not core, I don't think.
I think it is a core mechanic. It's just not the only one.
Not the core with a.
Yeah, I mean, there is no such a thing like the core of the core, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But backstabs are super important. Yeah, let's call it like that. Like you have to play around backstabs, or you're gonna get fucked.
You need to, So it depends on the build, but yeah, you do need to know how they work so you can at least defend them.
Yeah, you don't have to run for the backstabs, but you need to know how to counter them at least.
Absolutely, yeah.
Double backstabs go to next, I guess. Unless you want to talk about this tragical glitch that ruins the game.
The only thing about double backstabs is what it says next. Backstab escapes are confirmed, and depending on how the netcode is, I'm just curious if that will affect the timing of parry backstabs after BS escapes, whether you'll have to be tighter with it or not.
Yeah, maybe the same could be said about Hornet priority. When you backstab someone with a Hornet ring and they don't have the Hornet ring,
right?
Maybe the 60 FPS, will make it so you can't really get that parry BS at the end after.
Yeah. So yeah, what Kareem's talking about there is when you have a Hornet ring and you backstab somebody without a Hornet ring and it's a double backstab, you will get up from the backstab animation before them, since they are stuck in the Hornet ring animation. And if you're quick enough, you can roll to their back and get a free backstab. Well, relatively free.
Yeah, you basically get a free wake up.
Yeah.
You get a free wake up on them.
Backstab escapes are confirmed. Not much to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, it's a very minor tech. It's not really game defining. I don't know if you want to be precise, but I see a lot of new players, or even not new players, but unexperienced players, talking about backstab escapes as the be all and all of countering backstabs and fighting against them, when it's really not. It's something that's first of all really inconsistent.
I mean, it's not even consistent. Yeah, you cannot predict.
Yeah, it's extremely inconsistent. Yeah. And as a way to counter backstab, even if you would be able to get them reliably, there are better ways to counter BS. Pivoting properly will lend you a BS in the first place, or pre-kicking, baiting the backstabs to get parries to trade favorably, stuff like that. So yeah, that is a big misconception about backstab escapes. They are not a technique you should even be concerned about as a new player. Don't even bother, honestly.
Yeah, the one footnote that I'd add to that is just whenever a double backstab happens, or you think a double backstab's happen, just spam roll. If you get a backstab escape, you get it. You get to avoid the damage because you're spamming roll, and then it's free. And then otherwise,
it's a very good habit to take.
Yeah.
Omnisteps Raviolis are confirmed, so this is everything what we can eventually talk about in this case is just the fact Raviolis are extremely underrated when it comes to escaping backstabs. Chain backstabs, I mean.
Fairly overrated, I think.
Yeah, I agree with Crame here. It depends on latency a lot. On low latency, Raviolis are perfectly fine. The enemy can roll backstab your ravioli on wake up, I think is why I made a video
You
on
can
this.
even ravioli it. You can even ravioli it. Japanese players do that a lot. At hyping, you get chain backstabbed a lot.
Yeah, the only safe option that I've found that is consistently safe is wait out and then roll at the kick time.
Yeah,
because raviolis, you're gonna be throwing away your backstab immunity before they see that the ravioli is even happening. So they can get just a free backstab and it looks like you haven't even done the ravioli.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad idea on wake up, but it shouldn't be your main option, waking up to defend yourself against backstabs or even against other wake up options. Like if you ravioli and the guy just uses great combustion, you're gonna get caught by that, chances are, and you're gonna take 400 damage for free. Without being able to retaliate. So no, ravioli are okay and they're interesting. They are fairly quick and they give you distance, so you can have some niche applications, but they're definitely not the best option.
So, this is actually finally something interesting, because it's a new technique, yeah? So you guys might actually talk a little bit about it. I mean, ItsCestial especially. Yeah. About opening the menu.
Yeah, so the only application that it has in PvP is to cancel residual attacks. Don't know whether it works with magic or not. Kick combustion on 45 dex connects. So if you could kick and then option select with opening your menu, if your kick misses, that could be extremely powerful. Of course, when you're in your menu, you can't roll, you can't counter backstab, so you're pretty much just useless for a second, but the chance of you getting punished while in your menu, if you're not like unbelievably slow, is low enough that I think it will be useful. And then the other thing is, of course, just canceling residual R1s, whether it's from a missed parry backstab where you always get that residual R1, or kick R1. With parry backstabs, you can cancel it. You could before cancel it by toggling your weapon. So it's just an easier way of doing that. What it doesn't protect
you have a few ways to cancel it. Than that.
Yeah.
You can roll, you can toggle your weapon like you said. You can two-hand and one-hand, you can ravioli, you can even kick, but that's harder to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got the right idea.
Then the things that it doesn't protect against, which people initially thought it did, is two-handing and one-handing and toggles. Those still come out after you open the menu.
Yeah, I thought it's gonna be OP because I thought like you're gonna have like a possibility to clear out of the storage the input of the toggle, and turns out it's actually not. So this is kind of
that would have been extremely useful, yeah, for stored toggles.
Absolutely, yeah. It happens so much. When you get stunned by Kumo, for example, you get backstab, you store the toggle, you fail your toggle, and you get chained for free.
Yeah. And then the only other implication of it is just PvE related, or implications are PvE related, which is no dupes, but no, yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. But no move swaps and perma swaps as well. I guess that's PvP related. You can still do things like tumble buffing, but you just have to do it with spell swap instead of in your menu.
So yeah, because you're right, because both the what is that? Duplicating and tumble buffing is possible. It's just harder now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, and you can't do it anywhere. You need a step, right? Yeah.
But in forest, there's that really convenient staircase that leads to the
little drop.
Yeah, people use that all the time for doing up actions like that.
Yeah, people will twad in forest, don't worry. They will be back, unfortunately.
Kicks and parry option selects and pretty much all this thing related to the option selects.
There was a video that Crame made recently talking about we ended up just calling it roll confirm, but just because kick confirm is called what it is, kick confirm gets renamed, that should be renamed as well. But it's the same logic as kick confirm, where you press R1 and roll at the same time, and you get a backstab if it's available. If not, you roll out. You cannot do it with a forward roll. You can only do it with a side roll or a back roll. Why you can't do it with a forward roll, who knows?
Yeah, who knows, but at least that works. It's probably a PV. I think it's intended. I think they did it in PvE so that you could, like, last moment side roll a boss attack or something like that.
All right, but because we are kind of going too deep, from the perspective of view of the potential casual, what does that? I mean, nothing actually changes. Like, dude might still kick confirm like you when you get on the wake up or
indeed, but these are fairly obscure techniques. Like, surprisingly, not many people know about them. No, not many people know about canceling missed backstabs. And that's pretty important, because if you want to backstab someone and you miss it, if you're on anything slower than like a CB or a gold tracer, you're gonna get backstabbed by an experienced player. So I don't know if you want to mention.
To be honest, this is actually interesting, because maybe like I don't know, maybe like super new players legit don't know about it, but I was actually surprised, because I have seen a lot of the videos by the popular like community caps, like for an example that Inferno Plus guy. I'm not sure if I didn't butcher his nickname, but everyone actually does that. Legit, everyone does the Parry R1 thingy, yeah, to chain backstabs. So. Yeah, like, actually, to me this is totally shocking, because for me, like, I stopped playing Dark Souls 1 pretty much in 2013, maybe 14, because we was kind of later with on the PC with the Dark Souls 2 release, yeah, and like I'm coming back and dude's fucking doing the parries to chain backs. It was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why? And then turned out this is actually practically a safe way to apply the.
It's not so much about how safe it is, because it isn't safe. It's actually the least safe way to chain someone. It's not about the safety of it. It's about the fact that every R1 input that you do during that parry animation can link into a backstab. So if you fucking destroy your R1 button as you parry, you get like 10 attempts, 10 backstab attempts. And that's why this technique is strong and interesting.
All right, maybe, you're kind of right. I said it wrongly. This is kind of what I meant. That's been like...
Okay, sorry.
When you have a position to do that fucking chain stab, then you're probably gonna do the chain stab if you are Parry R1. But previously, if you miss time, you was guaranteed to get backstab, yeah? So that one is simply safer in that meaning.
Yeah, although not at high level, parry chains, unless at very high latency, actually don't really work against good players. There are lots of ways to avoid them, and they're punishable.
Spell cancel confirmed, like, not much to talk about. Actually, no, there is some, because it's actually nerfed, since you cannot detangle, but we're gonna talk about later, I guess, yeah?
The only other thing, I'm not completely sure if this is... it's the same movement as spell cancels. It's the hyper pivots. I don't know if it's linked to spell cancels in any way, but because you can cancel your spells and because hyper pivots and spell cancels are the same movement, I'd assume that they're both in. But I don't know if anybody was able to test them.
Yeah, that's very bold, I think to say, but maybe.
Yeah, speaking of the hyper pivots, I mean, maybe this is not related. I mean, obviously, this is kind of a different glitch, but I do wonder, have you guys tried perfect blocks?
Yeah, they work.
Oh, they are in.
Okay.
Yeah, they are in.
Okay, good. The last topic that's probably gonna take us a while. That angles and ghost strikes are confirmed. Correction! Reportedly gone!
No!
Oh no!
Fuck! Yeah.
Alright, so about the angles, I mean, if without the tangles, there's no ghost strikes, but that doesn't matter. Like the point is the tangles are gone. Like this is like a better information. All right, they are gone. People gonna leave. That's fine. But how the meta gonna look like now? That's my question. Because lack of the tangles also means, for an example, for people that prefers to play off meta, like if there is like a humongous, huge ass fucking chat thundercock dude with the mother mask and fucking giants storming at you with like super duper shield that has shit tons of the stability like Black Knight shield, you cannot even fucking kick him. It's impossible because you cannot stagger him with the kick because there's no detangles anymore. He's just gonna block your kick.
Two things
These
about
kind
that.
of dead angle kicks were kind of rare in the first place.
Ghost kicks were only used in one option really, which is on wake up versus mid rolls, especially. They were too inconsistent to be used otherwise, and that was the only option where they were actually.
Still, maybe you mean when someone tried to circle strafe you and you fortunately get a dead angle kick on them, right?
I mean, I'm pretty much mean everything because, like, generally speaking, the angle kick technique is completely gone now.
Just know that if there's one weapon, if we can call that a weapon, that this doesn't affect, like, almost at all, it's gonna be kicks. That's not gonna affect the way people use kicks, either at a mid-level or high level, I don't think, at least.
Yeah, I agree with Crame.
Very much at all. It's for other weapons, and especially other certain matchups where it's gonna be problematic or not, depending on the weapon.
I mean, like, I just have seen that people using katana, even on the high level, use those kicks, like, relatively often. At least, maybe I was just looking at the certain povs, and I was lucky enough to see them. Just
like Cest said, against mid-roll, kicking in general, whether you're gonna ghost kick or not, is super solid as an option. Especially if the mid-roll is like two-handing his weapon.
But they are gone right now, yeah? Mid-roll gonna be pretty much gone, isn't it?
No, absolutely.
Or do you think it's not?
Oh, no. It's gonna be just as strong as it is right now. Mid-roll S-Stock is gonna be a little bit stronger than it was, and mid-roll Kumo is still gonna be, I think, at least a strong build. Not as strong as it was, but it's still gonna be strong.
Okay.
What do you think, Cest, about the position of Kumo? Because that's one of the meta weapons that use dead angles and ghost strikes a lot.
I think Kumo and S-Talk flipped places. So Kumo and CB used to be the most prevalent, and both largely considered to be S tier. Of course, everybody has their own tier list that they swear by, but most everybody agreed that S-Talk was A tier, or at least a tier below, and then Kumo and CB were S tier. I think that flips. The other main build that it affects is mid-roll QFS, like regen QFS, for instance. It deletes that build. Really unfortunate.
Yeah, that build is gone. It also incidentally makes a few weapons worse. And I actually disagree with you when it comes to Kumo and S-Stock like flipping. I think S-Stock is going to be stronger, but one of the best tools that especially mid-roll S-Stock has is Gold Tracer as a backup weapon. And that weapon is still good. It's still really good, actually, but it's not going to be nearly as good. And for that reason, I think S-Stock, like, it gains the main weapon, S-Stock in itself, gains in power, but it loses it doesn't lose it completely, but it loses a bit of its best support weapon. I mean, in my opinion, the best support weapon. Other weapons that will suffer from that would be Pike. Gold Tracer complements it so well. Turtle is actually one of the worst matchups for Pike because you can't really do anything. Because Pike is fairly slow, so if you're too obvious with your Ghost Strike pikes, which are gone now, so that's not even the question. But you would get backstabbed. No, you don't have the option to bleed them out and to pressure them behind their shields with the Gold Tracer. Halberd also gets worse, in my opinion, because it was another weapon that benefited from Gold Tracer greatly. But yeah, I kind of disagree with you. I still think like S-Stock would be better than it is right now, but I don't think Kumo will fall that far off, because it's still 2 shots any meta build, and that's like insane.
Yeah.
And good players are really good at backstabbing, like they are really good at doing that. So
and in Kumo versus CB, for instance, Ghost Strikes weren't that like important. They were useful, but it wasn't matchup defining anyways.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
But usually, guys, thinking that like turtling gonna be way more common, yeah, overall with S-Stock.
It's going to be extremely more common, especially initially, just because everybody jumps on the bandwagon of new meta XD. Let me make a meme video about this now. Hee hee haha. So it's a lot of new players are going to be influenced by that, I think.
Yeah, even among the tryhards, I think a lot of people are gonna want to try the new. Maybe there will be a trinity of like CB, Kumo, and S-Stock. I kind of see it that way, and a lot of players are gonna want to try S-Stock, because S-Stock, despite what a lot of people may think, it's really fucking hard to play. Like S-Stock totally is hard to play. Yep. And it requires a lot of patience, which is not the same as playing passively. You can be an aggressive turtle, actually. A lot of patience. It requires to be really good at baiting backstab, which is probably the hardest thing to do consistently, depending on latency and shit. And yeah, so I think a lot of people initially, especially even among good players, are gonna want to try S-Stock Total. But most good players have been playing for so long that they will probably go back to their favorite weapon after a bit. I don't think it will be too oppressive, if anything.
Yep. It'll be interesting because a lot of people, kind of an off tangent of that, a lot of people have been comparing it to just how people played in, I don't know, 2015, something like that. I think it'll be interesting to see the differences between that, because players have undoubtedly gotten better since then.
Absolutely.
And so players could deal with S-Stock Turtle just fine then with certain things. It'd be interesting to see how they adapt to it now with both players, both the S-Stock Turtle and both the person that they're fighting being higher skilled.
Can you think of any sort of the counter to the like lack of the dead angles, or like the builds that gonna come to the top right now because of the lack of the dead angles? Like maybe some sort of the cheap damage.
It will
maybe
stay very much the same. Shotel will be a powerful finisher. Aside from finishers, I don't think much changes.
Yeah, it might take the place of QFS as a staple finisher in most builds, which is kind of interesting. I mean, you're gonna use, you have a little bit more room for weight in your build, because Shotel is one weight less than QFS, so maybe S-Stock builds actually benefit from that to be able to use Shotel. But it's very minor, right? It's not gonna change. Maybe though, like something like fast roll high poise Shotel. Sorry, is it okay? Maybe something like fast roll high poise Shotel is gonna be playable. I'm not going to mention buffs because fuck them, and they're actually not good, providing people play patient. But yeah, I think maybe it will be like, a usable build to steal games with. Because it's going to hurt. Like, Crystal Shotel hurts a lot, and it's really scary to face a 77 poise fast rolling giant mom with a Shotel running at you.
Like, the only thing that I have to say about Shotel is just the fact you're gonna all playing on 60 FPS, so you guys must be aware that it feels completely unlike the 30 FPS, and you just guys gonna be like, we're gonna have way easier time on dodging the potential Shotel attacks.
Yeah, roll catches are probably going to happen less. But the thing is, flip ring is also going to get a bit worse. Tiny bit worse.
That's true.
So that kind of balances itself, I kind of want to wait and see about the 60 FPS thing and how it affects actual high-level meta. I'm not sure it will be that.
Yeah,
Go ahead, sorry.
I mean, Crane, you had anything yet to say? Because I thought like we're gonna be finishing slowly.
No, absolutely not something major.
Yeah, like
if you want to wrap it up.
Yeah, you want to add something still?
Weapons that will suffer from the 60 FPS, because you mentioned that probably going to be MLGS. That's a weapon that's going to probably not be used ever, except by people that really love it. Because the beam was already... I haven't experienced it myself, but I've heard from players I respect, such as Fisto, that the beam was significantly better on PS3, the R2, than it was on PC. And it was like significantly worse on PC, and 60 FPS is not gonna help that. It's gonna get even worse. So yeah, MLGS in competitive is gonna be dead. It was already kind of dead, but I think it's gonna be even worse.
All right, anything to add, Still, or?
The only thing that I have to add is 2v2s are not going to be possible, and people need to start playing them, because they're going to be really a lot of fun. For the people that had access to
2v2s and 3v3s.
Not 3v3s.
That's not 3v3s. Okay. Go ahead, Seth.
We've tried both 2v2s, 3v3s, and 4v4s with a Phantom Break mod. 4v4s were absolutely horrible, just pure chaos. The issue with 3v3s, as well as it being a bit too chaotic, is that the meta very quickly was just one team has a glass cannon mage, and you lose track of them.
Did you develop the meta?
Within like a couple of fights, people were already using glass cannon mages, and then like you're fighting like 1-on-3, for instance. You have to worry about 1v2 who are trying to backstab you, and then out of nowhere, a Crystal Soul Spear one-shots you from like behind. Not good. So
dude's picking up something for lulz, and dude's already developing the meta. Jeez.
Still, I don't know if you were referring to the fact that they're gonna add 3v3 arenas.
Yeah, that was my point.
I'm not
talking about normal fights.
Cess is talking about summoning people and doing death matches, like 1-round death matches. That's what they've been doing with a couple of other players, Zane, Predator.
To be honest, people. I think not much people are actually gonna do that, since Arena gonna work actually well because of the matchmaking servers. So
Arena as a competitive format in Dark Souls 1 is completely utter fucking garbage. It doesn't really work at all, because it's...
but it might actually work now, since everything is on dedicated servers. I mean...
It's not about that.
That's not the issue.
It's not about that. It's not the issue. The issue is it's time-based, which means that if you get... so it's the team that gets the most kills in the allotted amount of time that wins, instead of being the first team to reach, like, let's say 10 kills arbitrarily.
I mean, you know what? We don't know yet much about, because they actually said that they are about to change a lot of stuff about the arena. I wonder if they won't actually bring Dark Souls 3 arena to Dark Souls 1.
Dark Souls 3 arena is it's deathmatch, right? It's the number of kill that matters, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. If they do that, maybe. But should they keep the current system of to determine which team wins, it's going to be garbage, because someone's going to get a kill and the team's going to turtle for 6 minutes.
I know. Sorry, this is working the same in Dark Souls 3. Actually, you have two modes. You have like regular duel, and the first dude that's going to die.
I don't think it's going to be a competitive format ever. I think it's fun. Like, I love Arena. I love 2v2. I love FFA. It's really fun to do with friends. You get on voice chat, you banter, whatever. But
I wish they would work about the arena, because, like in Dark Souls 1, you don't really have like any sort of the tool to measure the competitiveness in the community, if I can say something like that. I'm talking about stuff like the scoreboards, for example, like games like Osu and stuff. And Arena had the scoreboards, although they were fucked.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It might be popular, definitely, but I don't think it will be competitive in the sense of being something that reflects player skill.
Yeah, probably right. People just gonna be asking on the arena for the whole night and to keep the streak, and they
not to mention cheaters that are going to be a thing, etc., etc.
Yeah. I'm just saying about PlayStation 4 and Xbox environment.
Okay.
If like the save files are not the same like they were in the Dark Souls one, therefore that won't be possible to actually cheat them. So I mean to edit them so easily. Maybe at least for like a certain amount of time, we're gonna have like a lack of the cheaters at least on the scoreboards. So yeah,
that's very optimistic, but
yeah, this is I know that, but I kinda wish they would fucking do something about that finally.
Yeah, I agree, but
because
just
like
hope, right?
Yeah, this is actually wishful thinking. I totally agree. I just would like to see that, especially because maybe they're gonna develop plenty of patches for the remaster, and like I don't think so too, and I think this is also the wishful thinking, but
very optimistic.
Yeah. I actually I'm honestly just really interested in how the game could look like after like a plenty of patches. But like for an example, Dark Souls 2, like the release version and the last version are just like completely different. Those are completely different game PvP wise. Like there was so much changes. I wondered because most likely From Software wouldn't even handle the patches. That would be Q-Lock, because Q-Lock actually handled the whole remaster. Yeah, so I don't think so that actually From Software themselves would handle the patches now. So actually I would be interested to see what completely different studio would do with the game. Because like we already know that From Software isn't really good at balancing stuff out. They are not really good at generally patching stuff out, because the perfect example is the glitch in Dark Souls 3 where the invader can enter the boss areas. I'm not sure if you have seen that one.
No, I actually don't know, but that sounds pretty fun actually.
Dude, they were patching that shit half year. They were posting every single patch note, they repaired that, and the glitch always was making the comeback in a different form. Like for the half the year.
Really fun.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I kind of hope they don't give a shit and never patch the game, because I'm afraid that by patching the game and wanting to balance it out, they would remove some of its depth. I'm sure I'm not in the majority.
I am the optimistic one, but you are extremely pessimistic.
Yeah, I'm pessimistic. Yeah, because I don't think like it's not that much being pessimistic as most people that buy this game, they play PvE and sometimes they get invaded and they get killed by the usage of some very unintuitive, that's granted, right, mechanics. And that's frustrating, and they don't want to deal with that. So they're going to complain, and they're going to be the vast vocal majority. So it would just make sense for From, if they were to patch the game regularly, or at least a few times, to patch stuff that would hurt the way I play, but not the way most people play. It would just make sense, right? So yeah, please don't patch the game. Leave it as it is. From. Thanks.
Yeah, I got you. All right, Cest, you want to add something, because we are about to finish, I guess?
No, the only thing is to clarify what I was talking about before with 2v2s.
Yeah.
Since the host can, at least I think the host will be able to summon or reds, maybe one's invader or something like that, but because there's team damage and because you can choose arenas and not based on a time limit and stuff like that, I know I'm gonna be hosting tourneys for that format, and that's what I'm gonna be playing most often, more than invasions, more than 1v1s, more than a lot of stuff. And a lot of the people that I talk to are the same way. There was almost a tournament being held already in Prepare to Die edition for Phantom Break 2v2s, but the game was too dead at that point, so he didn't get enough players. So that's the only thing that look out for that stuff, because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.